Morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's me again. So let's see what's going on in the comments. Nothing yet, obviously, but there's a few people logged on Blimey already. Good. So welcome to the last day of the week. The Full Frame Club now open. There had quite a few people joined yesterday, and we're chatting on Sunday. So if you're thinking about it, don't delay. I'll be talking today, this morning, a little bit about managing leads, generating leads, that whole kind of stuff. Because it's quite important, to say the least, because you can be the best photographer in the world if you've got a business, but if you haven't got leads and you don't have to manage them properly, it doesn't really work very well. So let me put the website on. I know it's on the pages anyway, but I'll put it up here while people sort of come along live. Beyond Lens. .com. Beyond the Lens. I think that's right. Looks like it, isn't it? Beyond the Lens. Yes, there's a website. So if you're thinking about joining, want to find out a bit more, get the website. Everything's on there. And there's amazing offers at the moment, one-time only offers and all that kind of stuff. So they will not be repeated next year, and you'll be able to see what the prices will be next year. So if it's something you're thinking about, you want to take 2022 by storm and actually start earning some money from your photography, which is something that you've probably been thinking about, then this is the place for you. But this morning, we're going to be talking about managing and generating leads, and I'll touch a little bit about the Full Frame Club, and obviously the Academy membership is open as well. So if you're a photographer and you just want to learn more about your photography, then that's open as well. Let's just check the comments. That's all working. There's quite a few people on live, looks like. It's always difficult to tell because this is streaming to 3 places. So it's streaming to YouTube and the 2 Facebook pages that we run, Carl Thomas Photography, which is my dog stuff, and the Academy, which is the online training stuff. It's always difficult to tell when you look at this little thing in the corner. I know you can't see it, but I can. So it looks like there's people on each of the sites at the moment, which is good. So let's make a start, shall we? What do you reckon? Okay. Generating and managing leads. I mean, it's a big part of what we cover in the club. And it's an ongoing thing as well. So it's a sort of evolving process, really, for any business. But one of the first steps that you need to have in place and pretty robust before you think about trying to generate leads or managing them is making sure that your shop front, think about it in sort of the real world. Imagine I know this is digital, typically websites and social media pages and so on. But although some photographers do have studios and shop fronts, but let's assume it's digital. Before you get your shop front ready, or before you start telling people, come and have a look and see what we've got, make sure it's ready. It's a bit like the bar opening before it's got beer in the pumps, or the restaurant opening when they haven't got the menu sorted, or they haven't got all the food in place. And you'd be surprised the amount of people that I see in all sorts of business, actually, who kind of spend all their time and get the website all ready and start getting leads and trying to sort of close sales and everything else, and they're not quite ready. Doesn't mean you should wait forever. You're never going to be perfect. So don't strive for perfection, because that can drive you nuts and that can take a long time. This is just about making sure that you've decided what you're going to charge for what you offer. You're going to decided what you offer, what you're going to charge for it, what that looks like, and have a way of displaying it and demonstrating it in a cohesive sort of fashion so that people get it when they come to you. Because with customers, like anything in life, you don't get many chances. So once you get them in your shop, so to speak, you want them to be able to make a decision fairly quickly and hopefully decide to work with you. If you're half ready and you're not quite there and everything else, there's a good chance that they'll go somewhere else. They probably won't book with you and they'll have gone with somebody else, so you've lost them. So that's step one. So, and what does that look like? You know, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, TikTok page, and, you know, a website, you could do that in a day. At least, you know, get the bones of it up in a day. Website might take a bit longer, maybe a couple of days to get that all sort of finessed, but it's really important. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't have to have lots of functions and features on it. It just needs to show what you do and how much you charge, if that's something you want to share on your website and on your Facebook page. It's really important, thinking about this, actually, to make sure that you are clear about what you're offering. The reason I say that is us photographers. So I'm a dog photographer, as you know. Well, you may not know, but I am Carl Thomas Photography. And that's what I specialize in. And that's what people pay a lot of money for me to go and photograph their dogs. But I also do stuff like this. I do long exposures. When I go to away on our photography trips, we do stuff like this. Long exposures again, wildlife photography, all sorts of things. I'm very passionate about photography, all sorts of different things. Here's a couple of dogs. Look. This is what I'm known for. But we are doing other things. Here's my two. Well, we've got three now. That's Badger and Woody. So I'm known for all this sort of stuff as well, but I don't put it on my page, if you like, or my shop, because I want people to come to me. I specialize in dog photography. Other people in the club specialize in different things, equine, weddings, whatever it might be, people. But I want them to come to me because that's what I do and that's what I'm good at. They are not likely to come to me if everything else is in the shop. They come in and it's like, hang on, what is this bloke selling? It's a bit like going to a hardware shop that actually sells eggs and bacon and car parts. It's like, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? They might be very good at all those things individually, but if you put it all together, it will confuse people. And because there are plenty of photographers out there who do one genre, equine, weddings, babies, dogs, and specialize in that, and that's all that's on their page, those people are more likely to get traction than somebody who's got all their stuff on there. Now, it is tempting, I know, and it is something that we come across a lot, that you sort of think, okay, well, look, I'm good at, here's my dog stuff. Isn't it great? Here's some pictures of dogs. But here's some amazing shots that I've done of like salmon jumping. Really hard to photo that. I won a competition with that, and it's been published. But people aren't going to book me because I've got letters after my name, or I've got a nice photograph of a salmon to photograph their dogs. It doesn't work like that. You might think it does, but it doesn't. The way you demonstrate your prowess and your style and your ability to do a good job for a client is show them images of the kind of stuff they want. And it is, I know, and you sort of probably all going, yeah, well, that makes sense. But it's amazing. Us photographers all want to sort of say, oh, by the way, I do this as well. Look. And there's nothing wrong with having personal projects. I think, frankly, it's a really important thing. That's why I spend a lot of time doing other things. And you can, if you want, have another site for that with your personal stuff on it if you want. So if people want to go and see what you do, then have it somewhere else. Don't have it in the shop. So get your social media presence sorted out, get your Facebook page up, get your TikTok, Instagram, all those things doing. Now, in terms of getting leads then, so let's assume we've got a shop front done now, because I've covered this quite a bit this week in fairness, but it's important. So let's assume the shop's ready, everything's there. How do we get them to us? That's a challenge. There's no question. And it is harder now than it was 6 months ago and 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But what you need to do is, apart from obviously having decent products in your shop, if that makes sense, your offering needs to be good. There are lots of ways you can do it. So the obvious way is advertising. Print advertising these days, very expensive, pretty ineffective. Digital advertising, more complicated than it used to be and still very effective as long as you know how to navigate around it. So if you want to do stuff on the various different platforms, it's straightforward, it's easy, it's very targeted. Although there has been some updates recently with iOS that mean the ability for some of the platforms to show you data based on your requirements. So, for example, a year ago, I could put in, I want 25 to 45-year-old people with dogs, Spring Spaniels, interested in, gun dogs or whatever it might be. And that would go to an audience who've got those sort of preferences, or have been to those kind of places, or have shopped at those kind of places, because the social media platforms know that. Now, of course, iOS, Apple have changed that in that you now have the ability to switch that feature off. So hide yourself effectively. So it makes it more challenging. Now, the good news is, whilst that did create a dip, well, that plus the fact that they were pushing the expenditure requirement on advertising such that your organic traffic, that is to say, the amount of people you've got on your social platform that will see, or the amount of people that will see your work on your social platform started to drop off a bit, that's now going up again. Certainly that's what I've noticed. Because I think to compensate for that lack of data, the social platforms are sort of being a little bit more generous with the organic traffic. Because, without it, they aren't anybody. Without traffic, people on their platform, they haven't got a business. So it's really important to sort of keep that in mind. So you can boost posts, you can do advertising, stuff like that. What I tend to do, and I think I touched on this the other day, but I'll remind you of it because it's a very simple little process, and it transformed my social media sort of presence almost overnight, frankly. I've got going on 30,000 people that follow me on the combination of platforms that I'm on. And it was trickling up nicely. When I set up in 15, it was going up slowly, but it was going up. Then I did some work with a consultant, and I came away with a new concept, well, a new principle, really. So what I do is keep in mind whatever kind of photography you do, particularly if it's sort of animal photography, a lot of people are going to follow you. So say you've got 1,000 followers. Well, I've got 30,000 followers. I suspect 15,000 followers are people who just love dogs. They like seeing the pictures of dogs I put up. You know, I post things like this all the time, like gorgeous pictures of dogs. And who doesn't love a dog? 60 odd million people in the UK, of which 50% have got dogs. So they're people who are following me, who are not likely to be customers potentially. And so you have to keep that in mind from a point of view of what you're showing. So if you constantly try and sell to those people, they're going to get bored. If every post you put up a picture of a dog I put up had a link to a special offer, they're less likely to share it, less likely to like it, and that will have an impact. So you have to have a balanced approach. Bear in mind though, don't be thinking, oh God, if half my followers aren't going to be customers, that's no good. They've all got 300 or 400 friends or more, so they are potential referrals. And they often turn into customers as well. So it's not a lost argument, but it's important. So what I do in terms of the way I post, so the secret sauce that I've managed to put together to get where I've got in terms of my following is, number one, post regularly, be consistent. And it is so easy to go, I have a busy day, I've done a few posts today, and then I'm out doing this, I'm doing that, and then 3 days have gone by, you haven't posted. Social media following is like an oil tanker. It takes forever to get it up there. And that's a constant posting regularly. I'm doing this every day, most days posting, and it gets up there. So you can get up to a nice sort of level of following and a nice level of interaction on your posts. When you put them up, it's starting to get nice sort of traction. If you leave it for a couple of 3 days, it will drop down like that very quickly. So consistency, number one. Try and post regularly. I try and do something most days. I've been a bit rubbish lately, but try and do it most days. If you are going to be away, or you've got a couple of days away where you're going off to the southwest or up to Scotland or whatever, doing some photo sessions for clients, or you've got a couple of weddings to sort out, or whatever it might be, schedule the posts. You can do that on these platforms. So if you're going to be away Wednesday to Thursday or Wednesday to Friday, schedule some posts so that it all carries on while you're away. So that's kind of number two. And then the type of posts. Bear in mind that not everybody who's following you, he's going to want to buy from you. And bear in mind, not everybody that sees it, in terms of you put a post up and it ends up on their feed, is going to want to do that. What you want them to do is interact with it, comment on it, like it, follow you, and share it. Those are the things that you want them to do. And so think about that. I see a lovely picture of a beautiful dog, and I quite often see that I follow a lot of photographers, and I think, oh, it's a great photo. And if it's really, really good, and it doesn't have a load of stuff attached to it, loads of text and loads of sell me, buy me now stuff on it, I'll probably like it, and I might even share it. I might even follow them. If that post appears and it's got a whole paragraph of blurb and a website link and a special offer link, I might like the look of it, but I'm not going to do much with it unless I'm potentially interested in doing some work with them. So what I do is I'll post quite regularly with just pictures of dogs, like I've seen, these sort of things here. Look. Dogs being dogs, with just a little one-liner. Badger Woody having fun. And the amount of organic growth and reach I get as a result of that is quite significant. Hence the success I've had in terms of my followers. And it's easy to do as well. It makes life a lot easier. I'm going to worry about loads of text. Then what I do is every now and again, I'll do the same kind of post, but I just put a little signature on it saying, if you are interested in a photo session with me, drop me a message. Soft sell, I call it. And then every now and again, you get people going, oh, yeah, I quite fancy it. I've been following you for a while. Because what I have discovered is that, particularly on Facebook, people who message me say, yeah, I'd like to book a photo session, or how does it work, or whatever, basically inquire, get tempted, so to speak, have often been following me for a year or longer. So, and sometimes 6 months, but quite often quite a long time. So keep that in mind, that these people in the background are watching, like, oh yeah, I quite like it. And then eventually you'll put a picture up that happens to be the same breed of dog that they've got, or you'll put an offer up where it's half price for photo sessions that are booked this weekend, whatever, and it puts them over the edge. So keep that in mind. And then every now and again, I will do those offers where it's, it's bank holiday or it's Christmas. And so here we've got a voucher, half price vouchers or whatever it might be. Just checking something up there. That's good. Play people live. So good. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. And it's no more complicated than that. Don't try and complicate things. You don't need to spend a fortune with consultants on it. Just keep it simple. So the next thing I often think is, well, often I know is great value is referring. We're talking at the moment about getting where we get customers from. Let me get my comments back so I can see if there's anybody asking any questions. Got any questions? Drop them in the comments. Not a problem at all. Happy to answer them. Happy to chat. Referrals. What better than somebody coming to you and saying, you know, you photographed Dave's dogs a couple of weeks ago and they're amazing and he's recommended you and I've seen the pictures and they're fantastic. I'd love to work with you. Happy days. That's a referral. A very, very, in marketing speak, sales speak, we would call that a hot lead. Somebody who's warmed up, they've seen what you do, they've had somebody that they know, that they trust, know, like, and trust, that that has recommended you. And so that becomes a very hot lead. And so you want to encourage that. And there are lots of ways of doing it, depending on the kind of business that you've got. So, for example, for my business, I will often mention it to clients when I see them, and I've done the session, and they'll say, "Oh, I love the images; it's brilliant." I'm like, "Okay, that's great. Oh, we've done that. We've ordered the frames. We're doing this. Oh, that's fantastic. Can't wait to see them." And when I deliver them, if I deliver them by hand or if I deliver them, via the post, I'll say, "Look, I'm glad you like them. It's been great working with you. The dogs are gorgeous. If you know anybody else who could be interested in what we do, let them know." And 9 times out of 10, somebody who's had a session with me and has had a good experience, because they always do, will say, "Oh yeah, I'll mention it to Fred or Dave," and I get a lot of referrals through as a result of that. So that's another thing to think about. The other stuff you can do is get off your bum and get out and about. And what I mean by that is, I'm a dog photographer, so all the local groomers, the local veterinary practice, the local pet shops, get to know them, find out who the manager is, pop in, offer them some goodies, give them some information about your business. If your any of those environments are up for you putting a frame on the wall that demonstrates what you do, or shock horror, groomers, vets, pet shops, the owners, the decision makers quite often have pets themselves. Why wouldn't they? They're in that industry. So offer to do a session for their dog, provided that in return you can put a picture on the wall for them. Very powerful. And once you've had that kind of interaction with those kind of people, regularly pop in. Once a month, drop in and say, "Hi, here's a few chocolates, here's some cakes," or whatever it is. And just keep them warm, because that is those places are a huge footfall of target customers, predefined people. They go into the vets because they've got, animals. They go into the pet shop because they've got cats and dogs. They go into the groomers because they want to keep their dog tidy and clean. So they are perfect customers for you. So keep that process going. And then when Mary comes to you because she gets her dog groomed at the local groomers that you've done that little deal with, and you do a lovely photo session, and they come and they buy all the digitals off you and spend a lot of money with you, what are you going to do? You're going to go back to the groomers and give them a bottle of bubbly or something decent. If you had an order that's a couple of £1,000 or £1,500, whatever it might be, go back to the people that generated that lead for you and give them something, so that you remain top of mind with them. I mean, this might not seem like a complicated thing to do, but people don't do it. They think about it, they just don't do it. So there's a few ideas of how to get some customers. There's loads more, and it's a big part of big module of what we do in the club. And we talk about it regularly because it's a constant theme. People come up with different ideas. And then the last thing I want to touch on is sort of the management side of it, the process. Now, you do not need to invest in a posh CRM platform. And for those who don't know what that means, customer relationship management. So these are these online things where you pay a subscription and you can put your customers in there and it manages it all for you. You don't need to do that, but it's not a bad idea. But you can use, some people use Post-it notes, some people use spreadsheets, some people use a notebook. But whatever you do, have a way of making sure you know what status because after a while, particularly if you join our club, you'll have lots of customers. And so you'll need to be able to manage it and make sure you don't miss things, that things don't fall through the cracks, because it can, it's a very busy life being a photographer. So you need to have a system to capture them in terms of, where they are, their contact details, what status they're at. Are they an inquiry? Have they booked? Have they had the photo session? Have they ordered what they're going to order? Have you delivered it? Have you done a referral deal? All those things are important things to keep control of. And having a system. So one thing is having it all, a way of controlling it. Another part of that, a layer above it, is having systems. So get yourself a bit of paper, blank bit of paper, and then write down inquiry and all the stuff you want to know about that. Okay. And then you sort of think, that's going to be quite hard. You'll need a big bit of paper, because before you know it, you'll be like, Oh, inquiry. Okay, so I need to know where it came. Actually, I need to know the date of it. Don't I? So date, month, year, where it came from. Who are they? Name, address, age, uh, kind of dog. If you're a dog photographer, kind of dogs they've got, how many dogs they've got. Where did it come from? Was it a referral? Did it come from Facebook? Was it an internet? Was it via email? All that kind of stuff. You need to know that information. Then you need to know what status they're at. Okay, that they've ordered, they're about to order, they've gone cold. I've not heard from them for a while, and have a system that enables you to understand all those points with a structure below it or above it, or below, it doesn't really matter where, that says, okay, when A happens, somebody inquires, B happens as the next step. So for me, somebody inquires, I send them a response, but I send it in 24 hours, normally in about 25 minutes, typically. So it's something that I don't hang about with. And so it might seem quite straightforward, but it is something that through the academy and through the Full Frame Club, we spend a lot of time working with clients on, because it's important, and you'd be amazed how quickly it becomes important. So I hope that's been useful. Let me tell you a little bit about the academy and the Full Frame Club particularly. So the academy which is that there, look, Beyond Lens Academy. We set this up a couple of years ago for photographers at all levels, and there's now a thing called the full membership. So if you're a photographer and you want to learn more about your camera, you want to explore, things like just having a little look, you want to get off auto, maybe you're a beginner and you want to get into, stuff like that. You want to start taking sharp action shots. You want to understand, how to do long exposures, all those kind of things. You want to learn more about photography, then full membership is available. The doors are open at the moment. If you are all of those things, but actually are thinking, I would quite like to earn some money from photography, full-time, part-time, hobbyist, if you like, cottage industry, or you've got existing business that is not doing as well as you would like, or you want to change direction, which is quite popular, then the Full Frame Club is what that's all about. Go to the website, all the information on there. But effectively, that's for people who are looking to earn money. And we take people through that process and get them to a business point where they're earning money fairly quickly. So the kind of stuff we talk about, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, I'm conscious it's 20 minutes and it's Friday, but these are the kind of things we talk about. So we'll help you with business setup. We'll talk about full part-time, how to deal with the strategy, pricing, very, very important. You've got to price things right, otherwise you don't make any money. And if you haven't got any profit, they're pointless. This is all done through weekly live mastermind webinars. If you join the Full Frame Club, there's a whole plethora of content, a smorgasbord of content already there, because every week when we do these weekly live mastermind webinars, they are recorded a bit like this and uploaded into the library. So when you become a member, you have all that available to you. You can also come and join and watch them live. Mentorship, so that's me, helping you, supporting you, holding your hand, making sure we get where we need to get, whatever your objectives are. This is also me, making sure that when you say you're going to do something, you get it done. So that might look like, okay, I'm going to get my website drafted next week. Brilliant. Let's catch up next week. And it will be because I know that that's what we said we'd do, and I'll be hassling you about it. Not in a bad way, but just gently helping you and encouraging you to get stuff done and not procrastinate, because that's a very common thing to do in business. We don't want that. We want action. Personal style. What is it? How do we develop it? It's a fundamentally extremely important part of any kind of photography business. So we'll help you with that. Business strategy. I mean, putting together sort of the bones of a plan for you, depending on where you are, what you want to achieve. I've just been talking about that this morning and this, but that's a really important part of it. Skills and equipment. So you don't need to spend a fortune on equipment. And there are certain skills that you may or may not need in relation to the business. Selling, closing sales, managing objections, all that kind of stuff. We cover that. Editing. Well, I'm an Adobe accredited associate, so I spend a lot of my time editing, but we'll help you with that, whether it's Lightroom or Photoshop, to help you get your nice portfolio up and ready so your shop window looks good, and constantly manage it. I've talked about this morning, social media strategy and website creation. All these things there, and lots more. It is what it is. If you are seriously thinking about it, don't hang around, is what I'd say. Let's have a look. No, it depends. So it's a good question, Graham. So the webinars like this one today, so the typical group mastermind, for the full membership for the Academy, where there's obviously hundreds of people, that's done like this, where people comment and I'll put the comment up just like yours has and answer the question. With the Full Frame Club, quite often it's a smaller group, so we probably would be live. So it's a mixture of this format. It's a mixture of live, so we can have a conversation, and it's a mixture of one-to-one. So most weeks we'll be doing one-to-one. So for you, Graham, we'd be perhaps chatting on a one-to-one basis about whatever it is you need to talk about. And the reason I do one-to-ones is because I think it adds great value, it gives a personal connection, and there are things that you would want to talk about one-to-one that you might not want to share in the group. Like you might want to share your profit or your margins and stuff like that. So really important part of what we do. Let me just show you a few. There are lots of reviews on Beyond the Lens Academy, but let me just show you a couple. Right. So you'll be able to find these if you go to the. So I'm not making these up, but have a look. Absolutely brilliant, highly recommended. Carl is a true inspiration to any budding photographer, no matter what level you'll be. I had played at photography for a good number of years, always wanted to do more, but never known quite where to start. Recognize that? Is that sort of ringing any bells? Then just by chance, lockdown number 1, stumbled across Carl's Academy. And then you go and see what he's saying there. 2 courses, Carl's superb and tireless mentoring support over recent months. Recently launched my own Facebook page and website. He's now got his business to another level, earning good money. Here's another one, slightly shorter, you'll be pleased to know. Did a one-to-one training with me, 2019. I made a decision to completely change career path and become a dog photographer. I've since joined the Academy, which is effectively, she joined as a aspiring pro, this lady. So effectively what is now the Full Frame Club. Been amazing, both on the technical side of things, and actually take decent photos, but also business sales sides. Both have been invaluable. Taking better photos, increasing my followers and earning income from sales. Thank you, Carl. And then last one, I won't read all of it, you'll be able to see it, but effectively this is a guy who kind of came back to photography, hasn't picked up his camera in years, had lots of questions, saw what I'm doing, and he's now saying I'm a great teacher. His knowledge of Adobe is vast. After many years out of photography, I'm looking to get back in and earning a living from it, and so on. So, don't take my word for it. Here's a couple of, I don't normally share these, but I'm quite pleased with these, so I'm going to share them. So here's some messages from a couple of people, and these are people that have left reviews. So I'm not making these up. Biggest job yet with the session I had with the dog trainer, £1,249 in total. Amazing, congratulations, well pleased for you. I mean, there you go, that's real. August 2021. Then we got then October. Just a quickie to let you know, made my first £1,200 sale today. Thank you so much for helping me get this far. By the way, have you seen the new Z9? So there you go, clue, Nikon user. Amazing, congratulations, well deserved. That's from me. So, this is real. If you want to earn a living from photography, whether it's dogs, equine, people, you can do it. Don't be put off by the amount of people out there that have got websites, and we're going to be talking about that later today. Confidence and the cheap bloke next door, or woman, whatever it might be. I'm going to be talking about that at, what time is it? I think it's 2 o'clock. No, it's 12 o'clock. Let me just double check. Get my diary right. Today on the 17th at, yes, 12 o'clock. So if you fancy coming back looking at that, I'm going to talk about all those people locally, and it does put people off that are charging 50 quid. So you think, I want to earn £149 for a photo session. That's what I do. And I have clients that are spending those kind of figures you've just seen there regularly, every week, and some several £1,000s more. But around the corner for me, there are people doing what I do who charge 50 quid and they get 3 images for that. Does it stop me? No. Has it impacted on my business? No. But that's because I know how to handle it, and I've got a structure in place that doesn't allow those things to get in the way. So we're going to be talking about that at lunchtime. So don't not get into photography and point of earning a living because there's people that you've come across that charge a level that you don't think you can make a profit at, because you don't need to charge that amount. You can charge a sensible amount for what you do and earn a good living. And a good living for some people will be different for others. So, if you're part-time, you might just want to earn, a couple of £1,000s a month, perhaps. If you're full-time, you might want to be earning £10,000 a month. Everything's possible in photography, like any business. You get out of it what you put into it. And investing in the Full Frame Club, it's ticking along the bottom here, and having live ongoing support and all that content, and working with all these other photographers, those people I've just mentioned are about, they're still part of what we do. So you're happy to talk to them. They're in the Facebook group, and they'll come to some of our masterminds as well. I'll give you some of the sort of wisdom of the journey they went through. So please don't be put off by it. Make 2022 the year you decide to have a go at making some money from photography. Everybody who's come into us and done it has been successful. We don't have failures because it is what it is. So on that note, unless any more questions, there's still a few people live, I'm afraid, but I'm going to leave you in peace. If this is something you want to do, the doors are open. Go to the website, www.beyondthelensacademy.com. It's in the comments on the various different feeds that this is on. And you can join. The doors close on Sunday night, and they do close. The reason we do that, we only open a few times a year, is because, as you can tell, we do a lot for our members, whether it's the full frame, whether it's the academy membership, photography membership, if you like, as well as the full frame club. It's very, very full on. And so we spend all our time doing that. And when the doors close on Sunday night, they do close. And I get a message every time we do this. We do it a couple of 3 times a year. And on the following Monday or Tuesday, oh, look, sorry, I was busy. Can I join? And I always say no, because I don't think it's fair to say everything we're saying here now and then let people in after the deadline. So if you're thinking about it, make a decision, get on with it. You will not be disappointed. I can guarantee that. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you at midday, when I'm going to be talking about dealing with cheap competition and confidence, because there is a connection between those two. And I hope to see you inside the membership club, the full frame club, or the academy, full stop, over the weekend. The only scheduled one that's left now is the one at lunchtime today. I may well pop on live tomorrow just to sort of remind people what we're doing and give people a gentle nudge, because you'd be amazed the amount of people that need a bit of a push to sort of go, do you know what, I'm going to do it. So if I don't see you in any of those sort of formats, have a great Christmas. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you soon. See you later. Bye.